Hello, welcome back to my channel Christian Faith and Fiction. My name's Lou and today I am going to be sharing with you the Christian fiction books that I found that are releasing in January 2022. I found quite a few books that are coming out in this month in the genres of mystery and suspense, historical, contemporary and romance. As always, I'll give you the title of the book and the date it should be coming out, and I'll just read out the first paragraph of the description to give you an idea of what it's about. If you want to read the full description, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. That will take you to my blog where I've copied and pasted all of the descriptions and also given you links to their Goodreads pages if you want to add them on Goodreads. So in Mystery and Suspense, Colleen Coble has a new book coming out called A Stranger's Game, and that releases on the 4th of January. I think the 4th of January is a popular date. It's going to come up a few times, I think. Tori Bergstrom hasn't been back to Georgia since she was 10, but she's happy to arrange a job for her best friend at one of the family properties on Jekyll Island. A suspicious death. When Tori learns that her best friend has drowned, she knows this is more than a tragic accident. Lisbeth was terrified of water and wouldn't have gone swimming by choice. Life Flight by Lynette Eason releases on the 4th of January. EMS helicopter pilot Penny Carlton is used to high-stress situations, but being forced to land on a mountain in a raging storm with a critical patient and a serial killer on the loose tests her skills and her nerve to the limit. She survives with FBI Special Agent Holt Satterfield's help, but she's not out of the woods yet. Sunrise by Susan May Warren releases on the 4th of January. Pilot Dodge Kingston has always been the heir to Sky King Ranch, but after a terrible family fight, he left to become a para-rescue jumper. A decade later, he's headed home to the destiny that awaits him. That's not all that... where is my teeth today? That's not all that's waiting for Dodge. His childhood best friend and former flame, Echo Yazzie, is a true Alaskan, a homesteader, dog sledder, and a research guide for the DNR. Most of all, she's living a life Dodge knows could get her killed. In historical fiction, High Wire Heartbreak by Anna Schmidt releases on the 1st of January. In 1936, a party at the Ringling Mansion, Kadzan, in Sarasota, Florida, leads to a robbery and possibly death. A successful historical mystery writer, Chloe Whitfield, comes to Kadzan to research her next novel. Chloe's fascination with the circus is rooted in family stories of her great-grandmother, Lucinda Conroy, who reportedly was a trapeze artist of some renown. She's heard hints of scandal and perhaps larceny, but no details. Chloe's grandmother, rumoured to be Lucinda's only offspring, was raised in an orphanage and never knew her mother. Intrigued as she is, Chloe has no intent of writing about Lucinda until she sees a poster featuring Lucinda as the star performer for a 70th birthday gala for John Ringling in May of 1936. From there the trail goes cold. Silencing the Siren by Denise Barela is book 7 in the Ever After Mysteries, and it is a retelling of The Little Mermaid, and it releases on the 4th of January. Andrew Grayson thought he had everything until he met her. The indulged son of wealthy parents, Andrew has always gotten whatever he wanted, almost before he knew he wanted it. Clothes, gadgets, even a car. What more could a young man desire? Enter Annabelle Thompson, freak show mermaid extraordinaire, in a wheelchair. Her Darling Mr. Day by Grace Hitchcock is book 2 in the American Royalty series, and it releases on the 4th of January. Jilted in front of all New York, Theodore Day decides to lose himself in his family's luxury riverboat business in New Orleans and compete against his brother to become the next company head. The brother with the most sales by summer's end will win the position. Thanks to Theodore's fame as a suitor in Willow Dupree's outlandish competition to find a husband, he has become very desirable royalty in Southern society and thus has an advantage. Never Leave Me by Jody Hedlund is book 2 in the Waters of Time series, and it releases on the 4th of January. I'm not sure if this follows on from book 1, but I think book 1 was something like supposed to be similar to Outlander, where somebody from our time period goes back in time, gets through. It's like a time travel one, but takes place in like a historical time period. And I don't want to read the description out in case it's like sequential rather than separate stories. But that one's coming out. A Heart Adrift by Laura Frantz releases on the 4th of January. It is 1755 and the threat of war with France looms over colonial York, Virginia. Chocolatier Esmsey Shaw is fighting her own battle of the heart. Having reached her 28th birthday, she is reconciled to life alone with a decade-old failed love affair from which she's never quite recovered, but she longs to find something worthwhile to do with her life. Captain Henry Lennox has returned to port after a lengthy absence, intent on completing the lighthouse in the dangerous Chesapeake Bay, a dream he once shared with Esmsey. But when the colonial government asks him to lead a secret naval expedition against the French, his future is plunged into uncertainty. To Treasure an Heiress by Roseanna M. White is the second book in the Secrets of the Isles series, and this releases on the 4th of January. Beth Tremaine has always been drawn to adventure. During her childhood, she fed that desire by exploring every inch of the Isles of Scilly. As an adolescent, she dreamed of love in London's ballrooms. Now stumbling across an old map on her family's property, she's found more adventure than she ever craved in the hunt for pirate treasure. Unfortunately, Beth can't escape the attentions of her family's guest, Lord Sheridan. The Winter Rose by Melanie Dobson releases on the 8th of January. In this gripping split-time novel, Grace Tonquin is an American Quaker woman who works tirelessly in Vichy, France, to rescue Jewish children from the Nazis. After crossing the treacherous Pyrenees, Grace returns home to Oregon with a brother and sister whose parents were lost during the war. More than 50 years after they disappear, Addie Holt arrives in Tonquin Lake, hoping to find the Tonquin family. For Addie, the mystery is a matter of life and death for her beloved mentor Charlie, who is battling a genetic disease. Twilight at Morington Cross by Abigail Wilson releases on the 11th of January. An inheritance could provide her with financial freedom, a rare accomplishment for a woman in the Regency era. She only has to marry one of two men to gain it, but what if her heart belongs to a third? Brushed cruelly aside by the only father figure she's ever known and then hospitalised by her arranged husband months before his death, Amelia Pembroke means to take control of her future at last, one way or another. Yet she knows all too well she faces an uphill battle, considering her transient sleeping spells are only getting worse. To Disguise the Truth by Jen Turano is third book in the Bleecker Street Inquiry Agency series, and it releases on the 18th of January. When Arthur Livingston arrives out of the blue at the Bleecker Street Inquiry Agency, anxious to hire the agency to seek out a missing heiress, Eunice Holbrook realises her past has finally caught up with her. Having fled from the scene of her grandfather's murder 7 years before, Eunice is a lady with secrets, the most important that she is the missing heiress Arthur is seeking. She has no intention of allowing him to learn she's been disguising herself, especially when she has reason to believe Arthur could hold her responsible for her grandfather's death. Eva Constant by Tracy Peterson and Kimberly Woodhouse is book 3 in the Treasures of Nome series, and it releases on the 18th of January. On the surface, Whitney Powell is happy working with her sled dogs and welcoming the new additions to her family through her sister's marriages and an upcoming birth. But her life is full of complications, including an estranged father that have led her on the edge of losing control. Growing up, she was the strong sister, and she can't give up that now. When some villagers in outlying areas come down with a horrible sickness, Dr. Peter Cameron turns to Whitney and her dogs to help for help navigating the deep snow, and they become close travelling to minister to the sick together. In contemporary, The Girl Who Could Breathe Underwater by Erin Bartels releases on the 4th of January. When Kendra Brennan moves into her grandfather's old cabin on Hidden Lake, she has a problem and a plan. The problem? An inflammatory letter from a very disappointed reader that's keeping her from writing her next novel as long as its claims go unanswered. The plan? To confront Tyler, her childhood best friend's brother, and the man who inspired the antagonist in her first book, in order to prove to herself that she told the truth as all good novelists should. What she discovers as she delves into the murky past is not what she expected. And finally, in romance, Much Ado About a Latte by Kathleen Fuller is book 2 in the Maple Falls series, and it releases on the 4th of January. She's loved him for years, but now he's her biggest competition. Is this town big enough for 2 coffee shops? The Sunshine Diner has been Tanner Castillo's home away from home for years, and his place behind the counter is a fixture in the small town of Maple Falls. After years of working there and saving every penny, he is able to purchase the diner and make the necessary renovations to bring it into the 21st century. Growing up poor, Tanner's always felt like he needed something to his name before he could ask out Anita Bedford. Due to some savvy business investments, Anita's parents have been able to provide her and her siblings with everything they ever wanted. But Anita doesn't have the same ambitions as her doctor brother and lawyer sister. She's always been happy to work as a waitress at the diner, especially since it kept her close to Tanner. When her father decides to open a coffee shop and bakery, he puts Anita in charge, making her the direct competition to Tanner's Sunshine Diner. So those were the books that I could find that are releasing in January. If you know of any more that you're interested in, please leave them down in the comments below. Also, let me know if any of those books are books that you might read in the future. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed or liked or commented on my videos. I really appreciate that. Especially love chatting with you in the comments. I hope you are looking forward to what you're going to read in January, and I hope you have a really great reading week. And until next time, God bless. Bye.